There we go. Hi, Tameha.
Am I on? Hi.
How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Very excited about our live stream. Very happy
Yes, so am I.
to arrange it. Yeah, so
Sorry,
I have
just go
the
on.
sound. Is the sound okay? Can you hear me well?
Your sound is okay for me. How's mine? Am I
Yeah,
lagging?
yours is perfect. Yeah, I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
there might be a small delay when we're speaking, so maybe let's give each other like a few seconds after the sentence to sort of so we can hear each other.
Okay, that
Otherwise,
makes
yeah, because there's a delay. So I have just introduced the theme that we are going to speak about. So Tameha has kindly agreed to prepare a few questions, which she will be asking, and I also have a few questions as well. And today we are going to speak about starting our business and
yeah.
sketching about interior design and so on. So it's going to be a very interesting session, I think. So I think we can start. Yeah.
Yes, let's start. So, I think this is I've always wondered this about you and a lot of people who starts a new business. And I'm sure a lot of your students wonder about this as well, that how did you get the idea to start your own business?
Yeah, so I think that's a question that I get asked quite often, and every time I think about this question, it sort of it goes back to when I was a teenager because I always had this dream of having a business, but I didn't have a clue what it will be. But it's something that I really wanted to build from when I was, I don't know, maybe 13, 14 years old.
Hmm.
So it wasn't like unexpected sort of to me to start up a business, but
Yeah.
I guess I could never imagine that it would be in sketching and interior sketching specifically. But yeah, the idea of business was sort of it was growing all the way since I was a teen. So I think also after I graduated, I realized that there isn't a dream job for me out there.
Yeah.
Maybe I think, yeah, a few people can sort of relate to that as well. But and instead of looking for it, I decided to create it for myself. So this is sort of how it all happened.
How interesting. So, I mean, what gave you the idea to choose, becoming a teacher, like, and teach others how to sketch? How did you come up with that idea?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think like with every sort of person who wants to start a business, I think everyone sort of does their kind of research to see, what potential niche you can choose and so on. And to me, I wanted it to be sort of within the arts. So I was testing the ground for a year. By
Hmm.
testing the ground, I mean I was trying out different things like
Yeah.
paintings, all sort of things. And then I saw that there's a demand for architecture and interiors.
Yeah.
So, and I think how I realized that there's a demand for it is that I didn't see many artists focusing on it whatsoever. So I saw lots of painters, I saw lots of landscape artists, and so on, but I didn't see any sketchers at all. Especially when it came to interiors, I was doing my research and I just found zero people. Obviously, the more sort of I got into it, I sort of found a few here and there, but there wasn't like a lot of people. So I think that's how it was all kind of born from this kind of demand for
Yeah.
interior sketch, and there wasn't any people who were doing it. So I think it's sort of a great thing for me because I'm sort of taking over the niche which is not really developed, but it's also as well because you don't know if it will sort of succeed, if it will be a successful one, because no
Yeah.
one actually tested it before you really. Of course, there are people who are doing sketching on sort of on English kind of speaking market. But for instance, when it came to me doing research in other countries, I saw that, for instance, in Russia, interior sketching is very, very popular. It's extremely popular. I think every sort of fifth person is doing interior sketching. So it's
Really?
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see that contrast to English speaking market. And thanks to knowing English, I decided that, okay, I think this is my chance to yeah, build something for the English speaking market as well. So that's how it all started.
That's really nice. And I can't remember who said this lately, but I think it was somebody that I follow on Instagram, and they said that, you know, when cars weren't invented and people used to travel on horses, and if you had asked them, how can we improve our travel and how can we make it faster, they would have said, well, maybe get faster horses. They wouldn't have thought about getting cars. So this
Yeah,
applies to your, you know, niche, creating your own niche as well. I would have never realized that, if I hadn't known about behind canvas, it would have never occurred to me that I can, you know, approach somebody to teach me sketching and specifically interior sketching. In
yes,
fact, before starting my course, I was even thinking about getting sketching courses, but it never occurred to me that I could get interior sketching courses. So well done on doing that. Yeah.
I
So,
learned that it has to.
okay, this was actually my next question for you. How did you discover your niche in interior sketching? And I'm sure all your students would have really enjoyed hearing the backstory of that. Another thing that I'm really intrigued about is how did you learn to sketch? Because you're so amazing at it.
Yeah,
How did you learn it?
that's a good question as well because well, I've been drawing in general. Obviously, I was about 12 or 11. I mean, we're all as children, we draw, right? We all do
Yeah.
art, nothing special. But when I moved to the UK, I was 14. And I decided to take up art as sort of my kind of, I took up subjects in art and textiles and photography, all of the creative kind of subjects. So I was sort of doing art for, you know, intensively for, you know, very long time, all
Mhm.
the way PhDs through sixth form, and also when I started my degree.
Yeah.
So, of course, I had this background in art, which kind of made it a bit easier for me, of course, because I could
Mhm.
sort of different things.
Yeah.
But sketching is not something that they taught me at school.
Mhm.
So I had to learn it myself as well. And because I really liked sketching, because it's quick, you know, it's beautiful. You don't need to use lots of materials. You just buy a
Yeah.
set of. Again, I chose the materials that work for me
Yeah.
because you can using watercolors, you can do sketching using all sort of different materials, but to me, markers are the best. And so I decided to learn how to use them because I never used markers at school. Actually, when I was at school, my teacher was saying you never use felt pens for art.
Really?
Never.
Really?
Yes, she said, "Oh my goodness, is this felt pens? You can't use felt pens." No, I mean they were amazing teachers, but they had this kind of fixation in mind that felt pens, how they call
Yeah.
them felt, are not professional art tools. But again,
Okay.
back then markers were not really a big thing. Now they are a big thing, but back then,
Yes.
like years and years ago, it
Hmm.
was big thing. So I purchased my first set. I started to, to learn how to use them, started hosting workshops. Um, but I had to learn how to sort of do, yeah, perspective in interiors and all that because I had no technical drawing background whatsoever. I was actually really bad at maths and all that stuff. So I had to learn how to do perspective properly. I had to take up courses myself, and I took up a lot of courses to learn how to do it. And then I sort of eventually developed my own style in
Yeah.
sketching. So that's how it happened. But I had to learn it as well, and I had to take a lot of courses. Thanks to knowing Russian, I could do it. As I said, in Russia, this market is very developed,
Yeah.
and so I took up a lot of lessons from sort of Russian-speaking artists. I mean, it's good for me that they don't know English, because if they knew English, they would of course expand
Yeah.
into the speaking market. But I have this
Most of the
advantage
time.
and it really helps me
Yeah.
in that. So yeah, I had to learn it as
I
well.
think um, one of the other most difficult things is finding your own style because so kudos to you for having, you know, discovered your own style because I think especially when we're students, we obviously, most students, we learn from professionals and experts, don't we? And initially we try to copy their style,
Yeah.
and I think it's a big thing if you can find your own style. And yeah, so well done.
Yeah, no,
Really.
absolutely. And I think a lot of people get confused, what is your own style? There's so many things like a mixed together now, and you can't find your own style.
Yeah,
I think your own style is when let's say you copied from a reference image, and after
yeah,
that you think, actually, I want to sketch something by myself, or I want to use my own reference image. I think to me, that's already, you have sort of a personal kind of approach to it, because you're not just copying. Yes, you copied, you learned something, but you're gone to do something else with it. I think that's kind of how you start building your own style. Of course, you will not invent a new, I don't know, a line, how to draw. All markers are used the same. Let's be honest. Yeah, we have the rules that we have to sort of follow, if you like. But I think sort of, yeah, the more you use kind of your imagination and so on, I think the more you will develop it, and you will see it after some time. Of course, it's not inevitable. So yeah,
yeah. I hope I do the same.
I'm sure. But
And
yeah.
you're right about markers. I mean, I did not even, the markers that the top markers, and what do you call them? Are they called graphic markers? I don't know what you call them, but
Uh, yeah, professional. Yeah, just markers. To be honest, I think
markers,
like a specific name for them. Just yeah,
yeah.
markers.
I did not even know about them until I started sketching for interiors.
Yeah.
I just I had them in the house, but I actually bought them for my son this one time because I didn't realize,
Uh,
professionals use them. I saw them, I think I saw them on HomeSense or somewhere, um, TK Maxx or HomeSense, and I thought, oh, because my son likes to make comics and he's really good with his drawing. So I just got them for him, and it has been a good learning curve. It's, in so many ways.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I think the sun keeps going down and the light keeps changing in my room, so I'm just constantly changing my phone.
That's fine. Yeah, the light is sort of
Yeah,
unpredictable.
I feel like it's quite dark in my room. I do not know why I'm sitting right next to the window.
That's
So,
yeah, just close, but it's okay. I mean, we can still
okay.
see.
Yeah, as long as it's, yeah, you can see me. So, what are your tips for new business starters?
Oh, I've got a lot. So I really recommend to test the niche. Yeah, so like what I was trying to do. Yeah, so see what things actually work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and never think that your first idea will explode. It's something that a lot of people give up on. They think, oh, I had this business idea, I started, and it sort of never worked out, so I
Yeah,
just give up. Um, I would sort of really advise to, test the niche and really test out different ideas that you might have, because you never know what will actually blow up, right? You just don't know. So I didn't know as well. I was
yeah.
obviously testing out. I just knew which sector I wanted to be, which is arts,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know what exactly I wanted to focus on. Um, Also, I think don't wait to gain experience or finish your studies. This is something that I hear so and so often. People saying, "Oh, I need to get some experience in business before I." How are you going to get experience in business if you haven't started doing it?
Yeah,
You you will not. You can hear lots of theories. You can hear lots of businessmen saying how they earn their first million in 3 months or something. You might not earn your first million in 3 months. I mean, I haven't earned my first million and I've been doing it for 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, I think we get these sort of misconceptions about business people thinking that, oh, they're so successful. They have managed to do it so quickly. Well, first of all, you don't know their backstory.
yeah,
You just don't know. I mean, for instance, this guy who launched Netflix. I mean, it took him, I think, over 10 years
yeah,
to for Netflix to become successful. I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. I'm really bad with names. But I was reading his story, and yeah, he was basically saying that it has taken them a long, long time. And now Netflix is like number one thing that people speak about, right? It's like, it's crazy.
yeah,
Um, so I think, yeah, just never wait. Start whilst you're studying, whilst you're, I don't know, working, whatever. Just start doing something. Yeah, I think this is like my biggest advice. Because if you don't, then you're just delaying your own success. And
Mhm.
speaking from my experience, I wish I started earlier. So yeah, I think also look out for people who might help you out. It's something that I wasn't really practicing myself when I started. I was just on my own. And I know it's very hard to find a partner or a person who would sort of kind of share this interest with you. It's very hard. So I wouldn't say like wait for the person who will, share your interest. No, because the other person might just not want it as much as you do. But what I say look out is, like, let's say you started your business, you've been there for a year, yeah, and you want to sort of, I don't know, grow and expand, then you will need to start looking for people who might help. You can be your husband, it can be your brother, your sister, it can be your child, your children. You just never know, right? So it could be people that could just help you out and give you new ideas and new perspectives on things, because you can't know it all. And eventually you realize that you only know 25% of what you should know. So it's, I think, just, yeah, seeking for help is a great I think advice. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to say for now.
Yeah, that was actually I didn't what you said about um not having experience in business until you start a business.
Yeah.
I never thought about that, and that's a really good way to look at it, because that's I think most of us think like that. We think about getting work experience by working for somebody else, but we never think that we need work experience working for ourselves as well, right?
Exactly. You need
Yeah.
a lot of work experience working for yourself to
Yeah.
realize these things. So, and I think you mentioned as well that you wanted to start your own business as well after you finish your studies, right?
Yes, yeah. So for me, I think it is going to be like so interior design is a passion, and I would I think I'm so passionate about it that I would equally love working for somebody or working for myself, as long as I'm doing this, because this is what I enjoy. For me,
Yeah.
yes, I do love the idea of having my own business. I really like that as well. But more than that, I enjoy interior design. So, but I think we had this discussion, and like I said, for me, it is going to be a passion versus opportunity thing. I read about this once, and ever since, I've been thinking about it, that sometimes you plan and plan and plan, and you plan according to what you want in life and according to your passions in life. And but that might not happen, and sometimes you end up doing whatever you get the opportunity for. So I think no matter how passionate I am about this, at the end of the day, it will depend on what I get the opportunity for in life. Is it
Yeah.
working for somebody else, or is it doing my own business? I don't know, it could be both as well in some ways.
Yes. Well, that's been doing. I'm still working. I'm still employed. Yes, I'm not full timer anymore. Thank God
Yeah.
for that. Thanks to Behind Canvas, I don't have to be a full time employee anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started. I was working 5 days,
Yeah.
5 days, and I did Behind Canvas on the side. So yeah, of course, you need to have sort of this drive and passion to make something out of it. And we all have our circumstances. You
Yeah.
might a family to take care of, you might still be doing your studies, you might need to gain some experience. That's completely understandable, as long as you sort of know where you kind of see yourself eventually. And you might not even maybe see yourself now,
Yeah.
but once you start doing certain things, you realize this is for me or this is not for me.
Yeah.
Because when I started working, I realized this is not for me, and it might be fine for other people. I'm not saying
Yeah.
anything about that, but for
Yeah.
me personally, I don't like it. It's not my type of a thing. But also, when you're running a business, there are things that you might not like as well. But there has to be something bigger, sort of behind this whole idea,
Yeah.
because it's a lot of hard work, and sort of need to kind of have this sort of, yeah, passion and purpose for doing it, if that makes sense.
No,
Um,
absolutely. I also think that I know that you're a very hardworking person. We can all see it through your stories, through your posts. it's so obvious how you're a workaholic and you put in so much work in what you do and you enjoy it. So I think at the end of the day, we all are working hard towards something in life. Like you said, whether it's a job or whether it's a business or whether it's looking after your children, your home, your family. Um, but it needs to be something, for me, it needs to be something that gives you joy, and you know, it needs to be something that you enjoy. Because I feel personally, if I'm doing something for which I'm just working hard and I'm not enjoying it, I do feel like a
Yeah.
donkey.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm doing all the donkey work and I I'm not enjoying it, and I feel more exhausted mentally
Yeah.
and physically. Whereas if it's something that I'm enjoying doing, I might be tired, but you know, I'll be happy tired, and happy tired is a very good feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very true. So you have a lot of sketching students, and you know, obviously everybody has their own mind when they're sketching, and everyone has an artist in them. But are there any tips that you would like to give to your students, particularly sketching tips that you think would really help um, all your students, something that everybody could benefit from?
Yeah. I think in general there is a sort of a message that I keep sending out there, and I'll repeat it as well. Um, I want sort of every student to treat sketching, as a skill that you can sort of build with time.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I know I keep speaking about practice makes perfect and blah, blah, blah. Of course, at some stage you might get stuck and you need sort of more than just the practice. I understand that. Some of us might, be natural in it, some might not. But I think if you really like it, if you like sketching, I think it's inevitable that you will eventually become good at it. It's just inevitable.
mm,
Yeah, if you're kind of putting, time into it, I think it's inevitable. So I think, yeah, the advice here would be to sort of treat it as a skill that needs time to flourish.
yeah,
Yeah, like anything else. Also, start learning from sort of the base, which again I speak about a lot, from perspective, with the technical sort of drawing perspective, how perspective works in interiors and so on. It's something that you sort of is very essential. Yeah, you have to learn how to do it in order to understand the scale, proportion, and so on. And that's what I try to break down in every single course that I do. I try to keep it short and simple, because I know you guys don't have time to sit there and sketch for 3 4 hours.
yeah,
I wish I wish you had time, but you don't have time. So I have to adapt it to my clients, because I personally can sketch for 10 hours, but I know that you can't. So I need
yeah,
to make sure that my courses are short and simple, so you can follow along and actually feel like you've learned something after one course.
yeah,
So I think, yeah, perspective is something is definitely that is essential. And also try out various sketching techniques. Yeah, so maybe copy from someone, maybe copy from my courses, but then eventually choose your own reference images and try sketching out, and
yeah,
see what techniques actually works for you. It might be a technique that looks unfinished. It might be a technique that looks very detailed and nice and polished. It depends. And then you eventually realize, what is kind of your way of doing. But there isn't like one, technique that you use and that's it. You're a sketching master forever. Not at all. There are lots of techniques that you can use. There are quick ones, there are longer ones, more detailed ones, and so on. So there isn't a right and wrong, which I really like about sketching. We are so obsessed with right and wrong. This is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. And I think this is something that I want to move, away with my courses. I don't want you to feel like you're at school, like I'm so constantly judging you. I don't want you to feel like you have to pass something in order to get to the next course, because we are like this. We have enough of this in life, too
yeah.
much, too much. So I'm trying to move away from this sort of perspective.
That's a very good way to look at it, because you know, every person does have their own way of learning, and I know that I mean, even in art there are some rules, but then, and at the same time there are no rules in art as well, right? Um,
Yes.
and we do often forget that, don't we? We do often
Yeah.
forget that. I mean, even I think, even at school, even if you take a subject that's not art, take English, for example, because many could relate to it. There's so many ways to learn English. There's phonics, there's sight reading, there's so many different things. And I'm talking about this because it's very fresh in my mind right now. I'm doing it with my daughter. She, she's just learning to read. So in some ways, I feel like I can really relate to her because I'm learning a new subject and she's learning new subjects right now. So
Yeah.
it's so true. I wish my teachers thought like you, Stephanie, when I was in school.
Yeah, I think we all have these sort of traumas, from school,
Yeah,
which is not right. It's not right at
yeah,
all. We need to be
yeah.
more free to allow ourselves to make mistakes, because if we don't allow ourselves, then our life just becomes very, there's too much tension around. And yeah, let's not think about tension and all these ticks and crosses, and just, yeah, let's just enjoy it, enjoy the moment, and that's it.
No,
So yeah.
absolutely. Uh, no, sorry, go on.
No, I was saying that this is sort of my philosophy. So yeah.
Yes, and with your sketching courses, I do genuinely. I'm not saying this because I'm talking to you right now and you're in front of me, but I genuinely enjoy your drawing courses, your sketching courses, because it's just the way you've designed them and it's the way you've structured them that I think initially when I sit down, I'm very stressed because I just have this thing in my mind that I'm going to start sketching and I have to make sure that I get it and I have to be perfect. I want my sketch to be perfect. But once you start talking and once I start following what you're saying, I really loosen up and I genuinely start enjoying it. It's like a therapy session for me.
Oh,
So
oh,
and I know what you mean. It's, I think, when I'm on a day when I'm really tired, I can still do a session with you
oh,
because of the way you've designed them. I wouldn't feel like I'm taking on more work or if it's like work. It would probably feel like reading a book or I don't know. Yeah, definitely a therapeutic session.
oh, thank you so much. There's a message from Dina as well saying so true, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, one. It's really important for me to hear that.
I hope we haven't missed any messages or any.
Um,
Let me take a quick look at what's. And my phone's so dark, I can't even see what's
and
happening.
we had a few highs. So
Mm-hmm.
waves here. So hi everyone. Sorry if we have missed that. A few likes and people saying hello. No questions, just
No.
general highs and hearts and likes and so on.
Okay. All
But
right.
yeah,
So I couldn't read what was going on my phone.
that's okay. But yeah, you're free to ask any questions, guys. Everyone who's watching, please feel free to a question. We'll happily speak about it and answer.
Okay. So, Stephanie, I think I'll move on to my
Mm-hmm.
next question. And yeah, I think this one applies to all the interior design students especially, and probably anyone who's, starting out and doing something new. How do you keep yourself inspired all the time?
Oh, oh yes, that's a good question. I personally think, and I think it's generally true. When you try out different things that you haven't tried out before,
Hmm.
that sort of that keeps me inspired. And what I mean here is, for instance, I'm not saying doing anything radical. For instance, maybe like what I have done. I left London, yeah, to pursue sort of a life near the sea, at the sun. First of all, because I'm an artist and I crave for nice surroundings, I crave for this kind of lifestyle. So for me, it was kind of inevitable that I had to do it. And obviously, thanks to sort of being able to work remotely and build behind canvas remotely, it allows me to do that. And that has generally sort of lifted my kind of inspiration level up,
Yeah.
definitely, because I live in a very small studio in London. I love London, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with the city at all. But obviously, with the circumstances that we are facing at the moment, you know, it gets really tough, and for a lot of people. Yeah, I think this was kind of a very sort of natural thing that wanted to do. Also, by sort of doing things that you never tried, for instance, trying out different sports. Of
Yeah.
course, we're that as well, depending on the weather and on the lockdown and everything. But for instance, I'm going to try out tennis on Monday. I never tried tennis. I know it's something very basic, but I
Yeah.
never tried it, and I'm going to try it out. You know, like maybe watching films that inspire you. For instance, I love watching travel programs called Head and Tails, and it's about sort of like a woman and a man traveling across sort of the world, and they film in different locations, and they film basically two sides, like if you are a rich tourist and if you're a poor tourist. So you kind of get these two perspectives on tourism, you know, for instance, when you've only got $100 in your pocket, or if you have unlimited American Express or whatever, and you can afford any. Yeah, so it's that keeps me inspired, because I'm looking at this program and I think, you know, I want to be this tourist with unlimited American Express. You know what I mean? So it kind of keeps my inspiration
Yeah.
levels up. So it
Going.
doesn't have to be,
Going.
yeah, sort of sketching specifically. Yes, of course I get inspired by art, but mostly I get inspired by the lifestyle that I can potentially have
Yeah.
because of, you know, what I'm doing. You know, shopping as well, buying out clothes that you enjoy wearing. You know, for instance, I bought this T-shirt yesterday. I love it. You know, so
Yeah.
yeah, so you know, these things like inspire me, but I know it's hard. It's hard at the moment to keep your inspiration levels up. I know. I felt quite demotivated as well for a while. Maybe you haven't seen it through my stories, but I feel demotivated as well, because you know, building a business takes a lot of hard work, and yeah, I constantly need to find ways of how to keep myself motivated all the time.
Yeah, no, that's true. And it's similar for me as well. I'm really glad you mentioned about buying new clothes, because that happens with me as well. Sometimes you just feel bored with life, and especially if you like wearing, nice clothes, then it does bring a new life to your days or to your week. And how lucky that you found this t-shirt just before your life when we're talking about startups.
I know, and it was yesterday. Shops are shut, and I was so actually lucky to find a
Mhm.
shop that was open. I was so shocked. I just went in there and started like you know, going into the fitting room and trying out different things. And yeah, I mean, shopping personally helps me a lot. I love buying
Yeah,
things, not necessarily clothes. It can be just like as simple as buying, I don't know,
yeah,
tea, you know. But I really like
yeah,
tea. I go to specific specialized stores that specialize in like loose tea, and I
yeah,
buy, you know, small things like this, and that keeps my sort of mood, yeah, just myself happier by doing
yeah.
this.
Um, this is off topic, but how is the situation there with, do you guys have a lockdown, or
Yeah,
is it
uh,
relative kind of control?
yeah, sorry I interrupted you. Yeah, the complete lockdown here, nothing is open. So it's been 2 months we're here for another few weeks, and then we're leaving to
Mhm.
our next destination. But it's crazy, you know. I've been here almost, yeah, it's been 2 months, 2 months and a bit more now, and I've not been to a single cafe or a restaurant. It's crazy, you know. You think like before, if you go abroad, you eat out
Yeah,
every day, and
every
here,
day.
yeah, I haven't eaten out at all. Like I just took like a takeaway. But yesterday we went to this other town. So we're currently staying in Heraklion, but we went to another town, and shops were open there, which was a surprise to us. But where we are
Yeah.
staying, everything is shut. Only
Mhm.
bakeries open and food stores. That's it.
Okay. But I'm
So
sure the bakeries and the all of those, they're really good. I'm sure you're really enjoying all of that.
yes, yes. So in that sense, it's been nice, of course, with the weather and everything, but
Yeah,
yeah, when you can't eat out, when you can't go even to buy, you know, a t-shirt for yourself or something, it's a
yeah,
bit problematic in
it
that.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But um, I think your surrounding right now is probably, it just makes up for everything that you can't do. Because when I look at your stories and all the pretty places that you show on your stories all the time, I feel like I've had a mini holiday in my day. It's the closest
Oh,
I am to a holiday right now. I'm sure it's the same for everybody.
oh,
But
yeah,
yeah.
that's try to create content that inspires me.
Mhm.
That takes actually, work as well, to put out pictures, to take
Yeah.
pictures. It looks like it maybe doesn't seem like it's time consuming, but it's actually time consuming as well. So,
Mhm.
creating content is something that demands time. But yeah, I try to create content that inspires people.
Yeah.
So, and inspires first and foremost, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And I think anybody who's on Instagram and they like to make posts, whether it's stories, whether it's the feed, whether it's reels is the most time consuming, I feel. But anyone who's on Instagram, they would know how time consuming it is. Even a simple story, I feel, is, and sometimes Instagram will, or at least on my phone, it will either get stuck or the video quality will change and I'll have to do it all over again. So
Yeah.
it is very time consuming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We actually have a few questions here, if you
Do
don't
you?
mind
Yeah.
answer. Yeah, I have one from Farhan is saying, "Hello, I have a question. Is it really helpful to do any course online like sketching?" I don't know about any courses, but I definitely recommend my my courses online. I think it is helpful because if you are time short and if you can't be present, in specific location, especially with our current circumstances, we can't be present in specific locations. I think doing courses online, yes, it's very helpful. And I personally prefer it as well. At this stage, I've been taking up a few online courses as well, on various subjects, and yeah, I think it's of course not every course is good out there. Let's be honest. Sometimes we pay for a product and it's just not good enough, not what we expected. But in any case, I think it's definitely a good thing. Yeah, online. We have one from Dina saying, "What's the next destination?" I'm wondering if I should reveal it. Um, well, okay, I'll reveal it. So we're going to Cyprus, so it's not far from
Wow.
where we are now. We
Yeah.
actually want to go to Indonesia, but Indonesia is shut at the moment, as far as I know.
Mhm.
So we really wanted to go to Bali, and this was like our dream destination. But at the moment, we have to delay it a bit and yeah, go to Cyprus for a few months. So yeah,
That's going to be really exciting as well. That's
yeah.
nice. And how long will it take you to get there? How long is the flight time?
Um, Only a few hours. But we have to fly
Okay.
for Athens. There's no direct flights.
Mhm.
Again, because of the current circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to fly through Athens. So we have to get like a
Okay.
flight, but it's only a few hours because it's
Yeah.
still.
It's not
Uh,
much. Yeah.
so
I think if you were going to Indonesia, it would have been much longer, but
oh,
this is,
I would
yeah.
have a day, but it would have been so much worth it. But I really hope that we can get there, because yeah, it's something that we are planning to do, but because of the visa and everything, the touristic visas and stuff and the quarantine, it's not as easy at the moment, but it's still possible. But I think at the moment traveling is, depending on where you go, but it gets quite expensive. I think you can still fly to places.
Yeah.
Even though it's lockdown, you can still fly anywhere you want, but it's
Yeah.
just a matter of money for your tests and stuff like that, which sort of, you know, um, a bit expensive. But if you're sort of staying within Europe, it's not really expensive at all.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So, when you were talking about inspiration, the next thing that comes to my mind is motivation. There's
yeah,
similar things as well, but
yeah,
also different in many ways. Inspiration is something that, you know what I mean, right?
yes.
So, my question to you would be, how do you keep yourself motivated all the time to keep going and working hard for your business and keeping it growing? Because this is another one of the things that it's very easy to become complacent sometimes, if one is doing well in life.
Yeah.
Um, but then having that motivation to grow and to work hard and harder, how do you do that?
Yeah, that's a very good and deep question, I think, because it's different for a lot of people. And don't get me wrong. Every day I wake up and I might not feel the best.
Yeah.
I'll be honest here, and sometimes I have to sort of pretend that everything is going well when nothing is going well at all. So it depends. But I think when it comes to personally for me, what has kept me motivated in the past sort of months, fact that we have hired a marketing manager. So it has been a
Ooh.
investment for
Yeah.
behind camera, not
Yeah.
in a sense sort of money, but in a sense of growing the business and scaling it up.
Yeah.
It has a huge investment. She keeps me motivated because she explains a lot of things that I had no idea about
Mm-hmm.
sales, about marketing, about how to sell a product. I had no idea about that because I'm an artist. I have no business background whatsoever.
Yeah.
So for me, it's very hard to understand, how to sell a product. I can make a product, but I'm really bad at selling it. I'll be honest, even though my background is sales. But I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people sort of go into sales when they maybe not necessarily know what they want to do. It's something that we
Mm-hmm.
sort of fall into this kind of retail and sales
Yeah.
environment. Some of us, of course, intentionally get in there, but most of the people that I know end up in sales environment because they just didn't know where they saw themselves. So either way, it's a lesson. It's completely normal. And yeah, for me, I think also, besides having a marketing manager, is also my husband joining behind cameras as well has been really important for me personally, because again, he has a different perspective on things because he's an IT technician, so he understands how the technology works and analytics and all that. So I'm very happy that he can help out with these things. But
Yeah.
because you're on for a long time, it gets very, very hard. And I think even, for instance, with your situation as well, Tameha, with homeschooling and everything, you need help of your partner, your husband, to
Oh,
give you a
yes,
hand,
absolutely. Yeah.
because it's just otherwise
Cannot
you
do
don't.
on my own. Yeah.
Yeah, you just want to lie down on the floor and hope that
Yeah.
one day it's all going to be over. So
Yeah.
yeah, we all have our
Absolutely.
circumstances. uh, I think for me personally, the marketing manager and Edward joining behind cameras has been a huge
Mm.
motivation for me, because otherwise I'm not sure what would happen, to be honest.
Yeah.
And of course, guys messaging me and saying how much my courses has helped you. You know these small words might look small, but they're not small to me. Yeah, to me, they are big motivation pushes to sort of keep going, and realize that actually my product is worth something. So thank you so much for everyone who's messaging me, tagging me, and yeah, posting your sketches. It's very, very special and important.
No, I think the feedback really does keep you going. And I can totally imagine that, at the biz, at this, the scale of your business um, is such that when you get all that feedback for it, I'm sure it really keeps you going. And I can relate to what you said about your husband joining and having a marketing manager, because I think if you're alone in something, and we all of us get those moments where we feel like, oh, this is too hard. We can't. I won't be able to do this, and I just want to give up. But if you've got somebody in it who's with you, you know that they won't let you give up, right? I don't know
Yes.
if it happens to me, but I know it. I know it happens to me. And I've had various instances where I found, because basically when I started my course, I obviously started really enjoying it. But the more I'm getting into it, the harder it is becoming. I think it's becoming quite tough, and it's quite full on. I didn't expect it to be this full on
Mm,
and this intensive. Um, I thought it would be all fun and games, but and I knew that there will be some technical aspects to it that I'm going to have to learn, and I will have to work hard. but this was not my expectation.
Yeah.
I think this
Well,
is way more than what I expected. And sometimes I've had those moments where I felt really low, and I felt that this is too hard, and I don't think I can do this. I don't think I'm cut out for it. But my husband's very good at pushing me and motivating me. And then I found a lovely community of friends, mainly through Instagram, who are all, we're all in the same boat, and they've been through. We're all going through this together. Some of us are further down in our assignments, so some of them would have done something that I'm doing now, and they're able to offer. And I think they're probably most of them are watching right now. Um, and their advice and their words just mean so much. Um, they really keep me going as well, along with my husband pushing me and encouraging me. So it makes a huge difference. And you know what you said about feedback. I mean, I haven't even really properly started my business yet, but I feel so good when somebody gives me, sends me kind words or positive words about my Instagram. It lifts me up so much. So I can just imagine how it makes you feel, because for you the feedback is even more. It's much more than probably what I get, and it definitely is something that keeps you going, and you feel like, no, that you can keep doing this. And I think it's very natural to get that moment where that moment where you feel like life is just getting too tough and it's just too hard. But once you push through that moment, you realize that you can totally do this. It was no big deal. You were just standing, at the bottom of the mountain and thinking you can't climb it, but once you've climbed it, it was no big deal.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. That's how life works. And I think what you're saying about having the sense of community, having your fellow students at Bait as well, sort of sharing their successes, and you feel like, oh, I need to get onto my assignment now because all of these girls are doing it. So I need to, you know what I mean? It gives you this push, I think, because you're all very,
yeah,
sharing and there's
yeah.
actually to you, Tameha, as well, from Dina saying that you're doing great, and a few others. Maybe you can read them. But there's one from.
Somehow I had scrolled to the top of my messages and I wasn't seeing any of these messages.
Because
You can really tell I'm doing the live for the first time in my life, so I have no idea how to scroll through. I
that's
mean, I
just scroll
yeah,
down, and you will see a lot of messages. Actually, we have also a question from Davina, but there's a few messages here. If you see, saying
yeah.
that you're great and that
Thank you.
is supporting you. So
Thank
that's
you, everyone. Thank you. You all know that your words mean a lot, and I come to all of you and I pick on your brains so much during my assignments and during the course. And I honestly don't think I could have done the course without all of you. It's just, it's
yeah.
definitely, it's
I
great help.
about behind canvas, if it wasn't for meeting you girls, I don't know what would happen as well. You just never know, but sometimes it's just about a few people that help you to get through things, and
Yeah,
it's been incredible. It's
yeah,
really thanks to you. So it's been really really nice.
yeah.
So
Um,
I'm just checking the time. We still have around 8 minutes, so we can
okay,
still carry on.
okay,
So maybe
okay.
leave some time for questions. But I think in terms of questions, we've got we wanted to speak about inspirational accounts, right? Like what
Yeah,
accounts inspire. Let me ask you first, Amaya, what accounts inspire you personally?
yeah. Okay, so I'll quickly go over that since we only have 8 minutes. Also, Davina sent a message about where do you both see yourselves in a year's time?
Yeah.
And even if I don't get the time to answer that, that's okay. But Stephanie, I really want you to answer that, because I think
Oh,
everybody over here would love to know where you see yourself in a year's time.
oh,
So the inspirational accounts for me would be um, like most interior design students right now, Sophie Patterson. She is a
oh,
massive inspiration, and I can take so many other names as well. But Sophie Patterson is just, she's the one person that I look forward to seeing her Instagram every day. she's so genuine, and she makes, I mean, she's been growing so much, and she's grown so much. She's doing so well, but she still makes sure that in every post, you know, she's sending out a tip, or some sort of help, so that, you know, people who are reading or following her, they always learn something from her posts or from her stories. And she has two children, and I think they're close to age of my children as well.
Mm.
It's just, and also I just love her taste. I love her style.
Yeah,
Um,
I like her.
when I discovered her, I felt like this is exactly my style, and this is exactly what I would want to do. Sometimes I think I can be a little bit more crazy with color, but overall, I have to control myself. Um, but overall, yes. So she's the one that I go to for inspiration, when it comes to interior design, and yes, definitely Sophie Patterson. What about you?
For me, I had a thought about this question, and to be honest, I don't really get inspired from big accounts. By big accounts, I mean famous,
Mm,
because where I am at the moment and at my stage, I want to see people who are on the same level as I am, are building
yeah,
something, but have not reached this kind of major success when everyone's talking about them. So
yeah.
for me personally, if we're speaking about big accounts, I'm going to say a very random account, which is actually a swimwear design brand. And
Really?
just incredible. Every single post that they do is just so like mesmerizing that I just can't not press a like. It happens very rare when I like every single post, and that's not because I'm just following them, but because I genuinely like the content that they're putting out. It's a
Yeah,
a very expensive swimwear by Moyova, I think it's called, or Moida. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
yeah,
It's a brand, and
yeah,
oh my God, I wish I could afford a swimwear like this one day, sitting on
yeah.
my wearing this swimwear. Yeah, that would be amazing. But their brand is, yeah, is just incredible. I think it's a fashion designer from London as well. So that's
Okay.
brands and not really to do with sketching. But if we're speaking about smaller brands, I really like products by it's Intelligent Change. It's also an Instagram account, and they create like diaries, like
Yeah.
gratitude diary, like daily 5-minute diary, productivity planners. And I really get
Mhm.
inspired by their brand because I know the people who are behind this brand and how they have built it. So, and their story is extremely successful. I think they've been partially lucky in some ways as well, but they are great. Maybe some people know. One of them is called Mimi Icon. It's a husband and a wife. It's Mimi Icon and Ad.
Okay. Mm.
And they are originally from a sort of Russian-speaking region, but they have immigrated to Canada, and now they live in
Yeah.
London for over 1 million followers. And I recommend following them because they are,
Yeah.
you know, very genuine, and yeah, they don't speak about business too much now because they have a child now. They've got a daughter, so they're kind of you know, they're
The focus shifts a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, sort of towards that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I've been following them for years, and I
Mm.
remember they sort of, you know, started out, and
Mm.
yeah, it's incredible. Their success has been huge, and I don't know if I'll manage to do the same, but
Yeah.
it's been really nice seeing what they have managed to create. So, and I use their products every day. Um,
Okay.
so that's that. I think maybe since we have a few more minutes left,
Yeah.
maybe let's answer the questions. There was
Yes.
one saying, where do we both see ourselves in years' time? Well, I see myself sitting somewhere in Bali or Mauritius and filming a new course for you guys. Yeah, I personally see myself sort of traveling the world, um, and having this sort of, you know, free kind of lifestyle. I also see behind canvas reaching the level where I no longer need to work so much, you know, to sort of sell my courses. Hopefully, it will sort of be like organic. It will reach this kind of organic growth level where I no longer have to be so, working every day to make it work. And yeah, hopefully I will see myself also, a lot of interior designers knowing where to go. They have my name in their head, and they just know that, as Stephanie exists, and we can just book with Behind Canvas whenever we need to start. So I want to reach that level where, yeah, it sort of happens, where a lot of people know me.
How nice. And I'm sure you will, Stephanie. Going by the your growth rate right now, the way you're growing, I'm sure you will. And going by how much everyone's enjoying your courses and your sketches, that's definitely going to happen. How are we doing on time? Do we
We've
have?
got 4 minutes. I don't know if you would like to answer the question as well, Tameha,
Yes.
or
So Davina said, where do we see ourselves in a year's time? And I think probably I I mean, I would want to be more ambitious, but in a year's time, I think I'm still going to be, finishing off my course. But I would say that in a few years' time, I do definitely want, at least, even if I don't see myself, I really want myself to have my own business and doing quite well in that business. And these days, I've been really inspired to start my own furniture business.
oh wow.
So,
No,
not just not just the furniture business. Along with my interior design business, I want to have a furniture line as well.
yeah,
Yeah, especially because I'm originally from Pakistan. So in Pakistan, um, wood furniture, natural wood furniture has a big industry. And it just really fascinates me if I can work in that industry and make furniture or design furniture. So yeah, that's what I see for myself.
yeah. It's actually great how we take inspiration from our origins as well. It's
Yeah,
actually incredible.
definitely. Yeah.
Sometimes we don't even realize, but it's so, like, it's sort of ingrained in us that we,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's something special. I think, something that definitely most of us feel.
Mhm.
There was one question about Miriam saying, "Hi, I'm from Algeria. I wish I could follow your courses." Miriam, you can join my courses from anywhere in the world. You can be based anywhere in any time zone. You don't have to be present at specific day or time to do them. You just book the course and you do them in your own time. So hopefully that explains it. But maybe I can message you after this IG stream, perhaps send you the link. I'm not sure if you're following me already. You probably are if you can see the IG stream, but I will message you if you're still here. I think you're still here, so I will message you. There was one comment from Dina. Ambitious ladies, well done. Keep going. Dina, your words motivate us every day
Yeah.
so much. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe we've got 1 minute left. If anyone has any other
And
questions,
then
perhaps,
2 minutes.
yeah, if anyone want to ask anything. If not, we'll just give it a few seconds to see if anyone has any questions, but we might end it here just so you can share it on your page, to me as well, and I will share it, of course, and I will send you the instructions of how to do it.
Definitely. Do we have a minute now? Or I actually had
Yes.
another question. I actually just had another question. Do you have a favorite course of yours?
Oh, yes, I do. um Personally, my favorite course is the floor plans course, which I have just released, just because it's very kind of detailed, and it took me quite a long time to create, but it's quite technical in some ways, but I really like sort of the overall look, how it looks. And I think in terms of floor plans, this is the level that you sort of um, want to reach. And I think if you follow along this course, you will be actually amazed of what you're able to produce and how beautiful actually floor plans can look. And of course, I know for interior designers, you want to save time. So of course, you're not going to sketch out every floor plan. I completely get it. But I think it's a great practice for you to try out and see what you're actually capable of doing
Yeah.
by hand. But in general, I really like detailed sketches,
Mhm.
courses that might not necessarily be very popular, and these are usually my favorite courses. So those that
That's
take
great.
time,
Yeah.
yeah, that are very detailed and beautiful,
Yeah.
because I feel like I have achieved like an artwork here. But I think, yeah, we have to end here, unfortunately. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Hopefully we're within time and you'll be able to share it But just in case, we can always crop a little bit as well, so no
Yeah.
worries. But thank you so much,
Thank
everyone.
you so much, Stephanie. It was great doing this live with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tameha. Speak soon.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.